Greetings, everyone. Grand Rising, and welcome to my Wednesday night Intel update. I have a lot of great information, a wonderful presentation that I worked on to share here with you guys. First and foremost, I wanted to thank you guys for your patience. I am about 6 minutes late because I was just interviewed on Patriot Radio. So I was just on Patriot Radio just recently, less than 10 seconds ago. So I apologize for that, guys, but I'm finally here. I told you guys that there's nothing wrong with Mr. Trump, right? Everything's fine. He didn't have a stroke. He wasn't having no health issues. A lot of people were speculating due to a Simpsons episode that he was going to pass in 2026. In 2025 in August, but I was able to squash those rumors in the last live. First and foremost, I wanted to thank everyone for being here. For those that don't know me, my name is Ishmael Perez, and I'm the author of those two amazing books behind me, The Secret Government, Invisible Architects, and of course, Our Cosmic Origin, both which reveal a lot of suppressed information back to the Earth, and of course, they're both available on Amazon. And today is September the 3rd, 2025. And yes, guys, we are strong and steady on a positive timeline trajectory per my report that I have for you guys today. Let's see, any announcements? No announcements other than that at this time. So we can get right into it. All right, let's get right into it, all right? So, a lot of people were asking me, what happened to Trump during those 5 days or almost a week that he was doing no press conferences, no interviews, nothing? When everybody thought that he was having health issues, right? Trump was actually meeting in secret with the returned admirals of Solar Warden. This is exactly what happened. Was it a week and a half ago when he was all of a sudden missing in action for almost a week? The returned generals, or rather admirals, of the Solar Warden fleets had to brief Trump with what was happening out in space, giving Trump a full report on the war against the Dark Fleet and, of course, the negative aliens. And so last week, right, when observers and media outlets were noting an unusual silence around former President Trump, well, his absence from the public stage raised a lot of questions where everybody thought he was having a stroke or something, right? And even though mainstream media outlets provided no clear answers, right? Well, the truth is beginning to surface now, my friends, okay? And it is far bigger than politics, okay? According to high-level sources, Trump was in closed-door meetings with returning off-world admirals of Solar Warden, which is America's secret interstellar fleet that was established in the 1960s in response to the negative secret space programs, okay? So these off-world admirals had just returned from a long-term mission sputting deep into the Milky Way galaxy. For those that didn't think that we already had advanced alien technology, guess again, within the private sector, there are these things called breakaway groups. And their purpose, of course, the purpose of these returned admirals was to liberate entire star systems within the Milky Way that had fallen under the control of the Dark Fleet, which is the German breakaway faction that has operated in secret since the 1940s. So for decades, since the 1940s, as mentioned before, the Dark Fleet, aligned with remnants of Nazi and Draco personnel and powered by advanced alien technologies, expanded its grip across different sectors within our galaxy. They were misrepresenting us, okay, conquering worlds in the name of Nazis. Their campaigns of conquest, which enslaved entire populations and threatened, of course, to infiltrate our own developing space assets through what? Through the interplanetary corporate conglomerate, was completely neutralized and dismantled by the positive secret space program known as Solar Warden. So we could say that the returning Solar Warden admirals did confirm that their mission was a success out in space beyond our solar system, that the Dark Fleet's ring of terror had been broken, and that all those worlds that were once enslaved have now been freed by Solar Warden. And of course, all those people joining an emergent alliance of liberated civilizations uh, had happened as a result of that. So I also wanted to mention that when they returned, they also confirmed the fall of what is known as the interplanetary corporate conglomerate. So these admirals, which is part of the United States interstellar secret space program, also reported a victory closer to home, the dismantling of the entire interplanetary corporate conglomerate, which was operating from a pocket reality. They had access to that pocket reality, thank God. And so the ICC, which was once a powerful syndicate of Earth-based corporations, had secretly built interplanetary infrastructure since the 1950s, okay? Operating bases and, of course, mining outposts throughout our solar system. And yes, my friends, all right, part of Project Paperclip was that they were aligned with the Dark Fleet and, of course, the infiltrated wing of the Galactic Federation. And so the ICC, the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate, profited from what? Human trafficking across star nations across space, resource exploitation, and, of course, the suppression of advanced technologies that could have transformed life on Earth if they didn't keep it to themselves. But that era is over. The Off-World Alliance, the positive SSP programs that are aligned with the Galactic Alliance, have seized control of the ICC's assets, not only outside of our solar system, but within our solar system. And what that means is that many aerospace giants that once served the ICC's dark agenda are now being repurposed to serve a new mission, supporting an expanded and transparent U.S. Space Force. So, when Trump was supposedly missing, he was actually given the green light by these Solar Warden off-world admirals. The most shocking revelations from these clandestine meetings is this: the admirals gave Trump the green light to begin the process of disclosure. For decades, humanity has been denied the truth about advanced technologies, secret space projects, and contact with off-world civilizations. Well, after the meeting that took place 2 weeks ago between Trump and the returned off-world admirals of Solar Warden, we could say that that wall of secrecy is now going to crumble. So Trump's role is very central in the disclosure that is going to literally catapult our world into a Star Trek future, which is already here. So having aligned himself with Solar Warden during his presidency, right? I did mention this before, that Space Force is a front for an already existing interstellar fleet that was developed by the U.S. Navy in the early 1960s, known as Solar Warden. So now Trump is in a position to guide America and the world through this transition. Disclosure will not only reveal the hidden technologies like anti-gravity propulsion, zero-point energy, and medical breakthroughs, but also confirm humanity's role in a galactic community that has long been kept in the shadows. So what comes next, my friends, is revelations about off-world operations and recovered technologies, the repurposing of the ICC, the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate infrastructure, to support the Space Force and the civilian benefits. Also, gradual public disclosure coordinated by Trump and the allied forces, confirming what Tulsi Gabbard said 2 weeks ago regarding how there needs to be transparency in the Congress hearing regarding APUs, or unidentifying aerial phenomena, UAPs, I'm sorry, and of course, secret technologies. So the gradual public disclosure is going to be coordinated, unveiling some of the advanced aerospace systems that will redefine travel, defense, and energy and completely catapult our world into a golden age. The coming months is going to mark the beginning of the greatest paradigm shift in human history. What was once whispered in classified briefings is now being prepared to break into public awareness. So Trump's unexplained absence when everybody thought he was having a stroke was not a retreat, all right? It was a turning point. Behind closed doors, he met with off-world admirals who have fought wars beyond our solar system and have reclaimed the Earth's future from forces that sought to enslave it. The report also informed or briefed Trump that the Dark Fleet has fallen in outer space. Okay, the Dark Fleet has been dismantled in other sectors within the Milky Way galaxy, and the ICC has been also dismantled in other solar systems as well as within our own solar system. So the aerospace companies that were once building the secrecy, right, the military-industrial complex with Boeing and these other companies are now being used by the Y Hats, by the way. Those companies have now been repurposed to be used by the Earth Alliance. And with the green light given to Trump after briefing him on the success in space, disclosure is no longer a distant dream. It is a process already in motion, right? History books will one day record this moment as the time that the Earth truly stepped into its cosmic and galactic destiny. All right. This truth is no longer going to be buried, my friends. So, as a result of this briefing, Trump decided to move the U.S. Space Command headquarters to Alabama, Huntsville, which is becoming America's rocket city. And that was his big announcement that he had yesterday. All right. And this announcement was the result of his meeting with the returned admirals of the interplanetary fleet known as Solar Warden. So a new era of military dominance is now being ignited. Okay, America's defense trajectory has just been rewritten in a decision that has sent shockwaves through the Pentagon and across the globe. President Donald J. Trump has confirmed the relocation of the U.S. Space Command headquarters from Colorado Springs to Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama. Alabama. This is not a routine bureaucratic shuffle. It is a seismic shift in U.S. military doctrine. And it carries the unmistakable signature of Trump. Okay. Now, what is at stake is also 30,000 jobs, billions in defense contracts with old companies that were once working for the negative breakaway groups like Boeing and Northrop Grumman. They're all going to be working for Space Force now. That's what that means, okay? So tens of billions in capital investment, and the result is that Huntsville is no longer just a city. It is America's new frontier when it comes to space warfare. Huntsville, from sleeping giant to rocket city, right? For decades, Huntsville, Alabama, home of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, was a hidden gem in America's aerospace arsenal. Well, insiders knew its potential, but the city remained in the shadows of Washington and Colorado. Well, Trump's big announcement yesterday changed that overnight. This is about restoring America's dominance in the skies, in space, and beyond. Rocket City is back, and it's going to be bigger than ever. President Donald J. Trump did announce yesterday that Huntsville doesn't just gain a headquarters when it comes to expanding Space Force or moving the headquarters to there, but it inherits the future of orbital defense, hypersonic missile interceptions, satellite control, and next generation space warfare. This isn't just speculation, my friends. It is a structure. It is steel. It is concrete, and billions in contracts coming from these betrayed, you could say, aerospace companies that once worked for the cabal that are now going to be working for Space Force. Okay, again, 30,000 plus direct and indirect jobs are going to be opening up as a result of this, expected in Huntsville and surrounding regions. Billions in defense contracts already aligning with Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman. And again, these companies were once working for the dark cabal's military industrial complex. And ever since, the positive military space program defeated the negative programs, all of these heads of these companies like Lockheed Martin and Boeing, which were once working with the dark side, have been taken out and are now in the hands of the alliance. Okay, this is also going to create immediate infrastructure expansions at Redstone Arsenal and Marshall Flight Center. Projected a 45 plus billion in capital investment over the next decade. And this isn't a stimulus package, it's an industrial detonation. Huntsville is now the epicenter of America's space defense future. So, why did they switch the headquarters, or why are they switching the headquarters from Colorado to Alabama? Well, let's go back to the Brandon administration that had attempted to halt this relocation back in 2023, citing continuity concerns, but Trump dismissed those objections, okay? According to senior aides, Trump's team saw Colorado as compromised, citing vulnerabilities in its political landscape, election irregularities, and long-term security risk. We're not putting national security, according to Trump, in the hands of broken systems. We're relocating to win. And this came from senior Trump's advisor. It was off the record when he said that. So this decision wasn't just logistical. It was symbolic. It was a reflection of politicized defense policies and a full throttle pivot to Trump's vision of an uncompromised space military dominance. And not to mention, the Golden Dome initiative is also connected to Space Force, the hidden mission. So the relocation from Colorado to Alabama is only the beginning, guys. What comes next is far bigger. Trump's advisors confirmed that Space Command 2.0 will lead the Golden Dome initiative, which is a sweeping defense program designed to neutralize hypersonic missiles, orbital drone swarms, and satellite-targeted EMP attacks. And it is a shield that is going to be stretched across the skies, and Huntsville's Redstone Arsenal will be its launch pad. So what happens next is Q4 2025, first Space Command personnel transition to Huntsville, immediate construction of new defense infrastructure, recruitment and training pipelines already active, legal challenges from Colorado Democrats expected but unlikely to succeed, and globally, defense analysts are watching because once Trump pulls the launch lever, there will be no turning back, okay? This decision to move Space Force Command to Alabama it's more than just geography. It's more than just politics. It's about power projection on Earth and in orbit, when you guys think about it, of course, as we go into the future. So with Space Command's relocation, Huntsville doesn't just rebrand itself, it reshapes the global balance of power. Trump's move has fired the opening salvo in the war for the skies. And Rocket City has returned. The countdown is only beginning. And everyone is watching now, guys, okay? So while this transition might appear on the surface to be a standard military reassignment, it actually carries with it a broader and far more profound significance: the restructuring of our planetary defense infrastructure as part of an emerging interplanetary command. We are being prepped to become part of an interplanetary level 1 type civilization, okay, which is a key step towards full disclosure of the extraterrestrial presence on and around the Earth. And so for decades, Colorado Spring has served as a central hub for U.S. military space operations, home to what? Peterson Space Force Base and NORAD. It has provided the ideal environment for monitoring near-Earth space and coordinating satellite defense networks. However, as the scope of space operations expands beyond low Earth orbit and into interplanetary domains, a more strategically aligned and secure location needed to be required. So, Alabama is going to be known as Rocket City due to its long-standing ties to space technology, including its critical role in developing NASA's Saturn V rocket. So the Earth Alliance, which is a coalition of military intelligence and scientific organizations united by a shared mission of preparing Earth for deeper integration within the galactic community. And, you know, they see this move as a tactical upgrade, right? Huntsville's infrastructure, research capabilities, and geographic advantages make it the ideal location to serve as the headquarters for an upgraded space command that is no longer just watching the stars, but actively engaging with what lies beyond them. So this shift also signals the increasing alignment of military space assets with the long-awaited process of disclosure, the gradual unveiling of humanity's contact and interactions with extraterrestrial civilizations. So over recent years, we could say that the US government and other off-world powers have released declassified videos, reports, and testimonies confirming unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, that defy conventional physics. And for a long time now, due to the deep state, they have been suppressed. But now, the Whiteheads are in a position to begin project disclosure. All right, so behind the scenes, whistleblowers and insiders have pointed to deeper truths: the presence of advanced non-human intelligences and long-standing covert programs operating off-planet. Okay, well, this is no longer going to be suppressed anymore, my friends. So by moving Space Force Command to Alabama, the Earth Alliance aims to unify terrestrial defense capabilities with interstellar protocols, ensuring that when disclosure reaches its full momentum, humanity is equipped with a coherent command structure that reflects our readiness to interact with extraterrestrial species on equal footing. Moreover, Huntsville, Alabama is positioned to be more than just a military hub. It is slated to become a center for advanced space research, consciousness science, and interdimensional communication. As new technologies come online, many reverse engineered from recovered extraterrestrial craft, the necessity for secure, centralized command becomes all the more vital. And this isn't just about satellites and rockets, guys. It's about preparing for humanity's next evolutionary step as a space-faring civilization. So the relocation. Oh yeah, I was able to reconnect.
Okay, I'm going to tell you if I see you moving.
I'm back. I am back. I apologize for that. Apparently, my Wi-Fi signal was not working, so I must have said something I wasn't supposed to say. In either case, guys, thank you guys so much for being patient. I am back live. Is it live on your end too? Am I back on?
The same one? No.
No? Well, it says that I'm back live, and it's at 31 minutes, so I'm going to continue. Okay. So if you guys...
you're moving.
All right, awesome. Okay, so let's continue. I was able to fix the situation. So again, guys, the meeting that took place between Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping quietly finished what many thought was impossible. They delivered the final nail in the coffin of the globalist empire. But this is not just about shifting geopolitical power. This is about the lawful implementation of GESERA, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, and the dismantling of the financial stronghold that the elites have held over humanity for decades. So, Donald J. Trump is not only aware of this transformation, he is leading America side by side with the alliance. So, the meeting in Beijing is the blueprint for a post-elite world. Okay, the global balance of power is no longer defined by weapons. It is being redrawn with pen strokes and sovereign agreements. So Putin did not arrive in Beijing as a quiet guest, but as a co-architect of the new order. And so, together with Xi Jinping, he commemorated 80 years since Japan's defeat in World War II. But beyond the ceremonial symbolism, the two finalized a historic reorganization. And that was the removal of the IMF, the World Bank, the Bank of International Settlements from global financial control. Also, the collapsing of the Rothschild-linked banking system that siphoned humanity's wealth, and the creation of a sovereign alliance where nations reclaim their right to issue currency and manage resources without globalist overlords. So, the symbolism of this meeting cannot be overstated. China, once humiliated during the Opium Wars, now sits at the table as an equal partner with Russia, the nation that shattered the Nazi war machine. And this was not just about remembering history, it was about rewriting it. Okay, I'm going over a meeting that took place in the last couple of days between Putin and Xi Jinping, which was about ending the fiat system. So the message to the West is unmistakable. Okay, you no longer control the future. And when they are referring to the West, they're talking about the deep state. Okay, not Trump. Trump's return was also a trigger. Okay, from behind the scenes, the shift would never have reached full momentum without the return, of course, of Donald Trump to the US presidency in the last 6 months. So on January 20th, 2025, Trump was reinstated following military tribunals, Supreme Court rulings, and the unsealing of indictments that revealed the true extent of election interference and globalist infiltration in 2020. And so the fraud was exposed, the truth is prevailing, and one of the Trump's first executive actions upon return was the activation of the GESERA Implementation Task Force, whose headquarters is in Texas. Now, this task force now works hand in hand with newly liberated BRIC nations, U.S. military intelligence, allied divisions within Space Force, and the Treasury. And so together, they are executing the greatest financial and spiritual liberation in modern history. And so, unlike his predecessor, right, who was Sleepy Joe, a puppet of the elite, Trump prepared this movement from the very beginning. His meeting with Putin a few weeks ago, his mission was never merely about American politics. It was about restoring the wealth to the world. Okay, so America's wealth is part of this restoration. The world's wealth as well, from a GESERA perspective, is part of this movement. And, America is designed to stand as a beacon of freedom, innovation, and truth in this financial revolution. So with the Beijing agreement that took place between Putin and Xi Jinping, we are going to be witnessing the collapsing of the entire Western elite control institution. Trump's blueprint for global liberation is not just a theory, it is now in motion, okay? And the mainstream will never continue to pump out. The mainstream media will always continue to distract people, right? Through wars, crashes, plan, mix, and fear. But these are all shadows that are cast by an empire that has already lost its grip, guys. Okay. In Beijing, Putin and Xi Jinping signaled the end of Western globalist dominance. And in Washington, Trump triggered the financial face of Gesera. Together, these forces have shattered the elite's financial cage around humanity, as we are now going to be entering a new era, one where sovereignty replaces slavery, truth replaces deception, and abundance replaces scarcity. So the globalist empire is finishing. The new world has already begun. And so I wanted to share another declassified military report that was, I guess, released by Space Force. Commander Zulu 9 clearance intel dump on the 2nd of September 2025. So, this report originated from verified leaks, cross confirmed with field assets and deep channel intelligence. So, and there are portions of this report that remain sealed under black level clearance, where sufficient data has surfaced to expose the parameter breach of a hidden war beneath American soil. So, one of the things that the Earth Alliance has been very successful in is in what is known as Operation Reclamation. Okay. And it has been active for quite some time. The year 2025 is when they were able to finalize this operation. The status has been well active for a few years. The unit, conducted by U.S. Space Force and Joint Operations Task Groups as well, the primary nodes were located in Cheyenne Mountain, Dulce Base, Denver International Airport. That underground base was also cleared. And of course, the Nevada Desert Network. Okay. So this isn't just about the war in space. This is about the war that has been going on underneath our feet. Okay. So according to senior officer of the Earth Alliance, who goes by the who I don't want to reveal his name, but this is known as Zulu-9 clearance. Okay, I guess that is a code word for a certain level of clearance. So contrary to what mainstream media narratives, foreign wars and overseas threats, the most critical battlefield lies below the continental United States. Operation Reclamation is a coordinated campaign to dismantle the deep underground bases known as dumps and all their networks, which is a lattice of subterranean strongholds that were used by rogue factions working for the deep state, corporate militias, and foreign linked assets. Okay. And so they did verify the subterranean grid by key sites of engagement. The first one was Cheyenne Mountain Complex. Okay, NORAD was once used by the deep state, and luckily it was recuperated by the Earth Alliance, and that explains why they are now relocating the headquarters over to Alabama. Okay, also the cleaning out of the Dulce base in New Mexico. That was a huge underground network, guys. That was also successfully cleansed by the Earth Alliance. In addition to that, Area 51, the infamous Area 51, was also cleansed. So now everything under Area 51 is in the hands of the Alliance. Not to mention the Denver International Airport. Okay, the Denver International Airport, which was once a hub for corruption, right? And human alien experimentations. It was the home of the Red Queen, right? Which is negative AI, advanced computing system that was designed to track starseeds, Rh negative blood type, and crystal children, has also been seized by the Alliance. And also Ozark Mountain region, right, in Missouri. That was also successfully cleansed by the Earth Alliance. Not to mention the Redstone Arsenal in Alabama, I think, and the North Carolina underground entry as well. Okay. And capabilities that have been identified are that were recovered by Earth Alliance personnel were magnetically shielded tunnels, zero-G transport lines, EMP resistant vaults, quantum locked gates, and AI controlled surveillance. Hence, the Red Queen that was operating in the underground structure of the Colorado airport. And of course, a lot of defense systems that the deep state were using against humanity. So these facilities are not relics of the Cold War, my friends. They represent an active shadow government infrastructure built to outlast surface governments and secure continuity of elite operations. Well, that was their original intent, okay? Surface level clearance as of September 2nd, which was yesterday, 2025, according to Earth Alliance Intel, all of those bases, dumps, have now been successfully recuperated by the Earth Alliance. So while subterranean battles raged for the last few years, right, the surface narrative continues to fracture. And so on September 2nd, 2025, which was yesterday, today is the 3rd, parallel flashpoints have unfolded. And it is no coincidence that in the last week and a half, for almost a week, Trump was missing. He was MIS because of the fact that he was in private meetings with returned off-world admirals. Okay, so a lot of this ties in with what happened when he was supposedly dying, right? Well, President Donald J. Trump authorized the National Guard deployment into Chicago, right, as crime rates spiraled out of control. I'm sure you guys already know that. Local leadership, instead of cooperating, escalating tensions, treating federal intervention as rebellion against their own authority. Well, whistleblowers did confirm FBI linked data manipulation that they found in Chicago. Violent crime statistics are being systematically disguised or downgraded. And of course, major US cities are running parallel reporting systems to conceal surges in murder and assault. And all this was discovered by the Earth Alliance within the last few days in Chicago. Okay. So under Trump's prior leadership, crime fell sharply. And this was during his first term. Okay. Under the current leadership of Trump, all cover-ups are now coming to light. Truth was buried, right, alongside with the victims for many years under the Brandon administration. But all of that is now going to be coming to light. So reports indicate race data on criminal suspects is intentionally misclassified to manipulate narratives. And this is not clerical error. It is engineered propaganda to inflame divisions, obscure real patterns, and preserve political control. Over 105 million foreign nationals now reside within U.S. borders, many incentivized with housing and payouts. And so this is another thing that they discovered in Chicago, right? In Chicago, this influx has displaced entire Black communities. Locals describe it as nothing less than demographic warfare, a replacement strategy disguised as immigration policy. Well, the hammer is being dropped as I speak, right? Even broadcasters like Alex Jones confirmed that grand juries have formed with John Bolton under federal investigation. Yet the DOJ and FBI insiders continue shielding traitors while punishing ordinary Americans. The system, the justice system, compromised from within, is crumbling under its own duplicity, according to Alex Jones. So, in cities where mayors act more like crime bosses than leaders, Trump stands as the last line of defense. And all those other 19 cities are next after Chicago, right? And should Trump restore order in Chicago, ending displacement and corruption and violence, he will also be embracing as the savior, or he will be embraced rather as the savior abandoned communities have been waiting for. Okay. So I believe that that's another reason why I think he's going to be getting a Nobel Peace Prize pretty soon because he's going to clean out America. Okay, so Operation Reclamation, along with what's happening right now on a national level, right? Succeeding in the final cleansing of the underground dumps, cleaning major corrupt hubs within America, and extending this to the war. Things are getting bad in Mexico. The Mexican cartels are falling. There is a war taking place right now between Space Force and the Mexican cartels as I speak, and it is being won in our favor, obviously. Okay, all of this is happening concurrently, as no coincidence, my friends. This is all part of Operation Reclamation, right? It is a live campaign being conducted as I speak by the Earth Alliance. So, in short, beneath America, advanced forces have dismantled entire subterranean empires, right? On the surface, Trump maneuvers against lawless cities and compromised officials, and both fronts converged on a single truth, which is the old system is collapsing and disclosure is no longer optional. Okay. So the elites hid their wars underground. Now they are being forced to come to the light. Now they're being forced to be exposed. Okay. I am so glad that I was able to jump back on again earlier, guys. I apologize. I had an internet interference. I couldn't, I guess, do anything for a few minutes. So I had to like restart everything. For a minute there, I thought I had to start the live from the beginning, but luckily, somehow, I was able to continue the same live, and I believe everyone else is jumped back on. Yes, everyone else is back. Beautiful. All right. Yeah, that was his big announcement yesterday, right? The relocation of Space Force headquarters over to Alabama. And all of that happened as a result of his secret meetings that he took, that he was involved in the last week and a half when he was supposedly missing. He was being briefed by admirals that had returned from a long space expedition that they were conducting for the last, believe it or not, 20 years. And a lot of that had a lot to do with a lot of worlds that were being enslaved and dominated by the Dark Fleet enterprise that apparently had access to a lot of sectors within our galaxy. So it seems like the positive timeline is fully intact. It seems like everything's working in our favor, Galactic Jedis. I am excited that we are living in the greatest time ever in the history of planet Earth. Now, I do want to make an announcement, okay? In 2 days, I am going to be featured on the Awakened magazine. It's called the Awakened magazine. And for those that want to look at my article, it's a few pages, my story. That magazine is only available through subscription. It's not much though. But what I would like to do is I would like to share the link with you guys in the description of this live so that you guys could check out the magazine. I believe that there is a 3-day free trial. And then if you guys want to subscribe, this is a magazine that is constantly featuring different people that are part of the awakening. And so I will go ahead and share the link at the end of the live. And also, guys, as a reminder, I believe in this holistic product that I've been taking, and apparently a lot of you guys have been taking, that completely eliminates all of that, the stuff that was put in people's bodies. But first of all, disclaimer, guys, okay? I am not no medical expert. I am not a doctor, all right? I just wanted to throw that out there. But based on my own experience and based on what others have experienced, this Folium product is really eliminating all the nanobots, all the metals, all the mRNA, everything that we are actually eating in the foods now. If you guys didn't know, the big Gates was, putting all that stuff in cows and animals. And so by default of that, even if we didn't get that in 2019, we're still eating it in foods. So the only thing that is going to eliminate all that stuff is, of course, this thing right here, okay? The folium. So I always put the link in the description at the end of every live. This is the time to literally begin the detox process, guys. Get your pineal gland working again. Get your body fully cleansed. There is no time to be, you could say, invaded by parasites and metals. All of that stuff, smart dust, you name it, they will go away. And you guys will see results even within a week. All right. So the link is always in the description. Furthermore, because the alien event is next week, and I don't know who's signing up, I have no record of that. The person who is putting this event together is actually now dropping the price to only $60. This is the alien event that is going to take place from September 12th to the 14th in Vegas, okay, at the Alexis Hotel and Resort in Las Vegas. So if you guys go to see me, it's only going to be $60. Just make sure you give me your name ahead of time so that I could give your name to the coordinator of this event, so that when you get to the door, you buy the ticket for only $60. Okay, cheap. I believe it's a 3-day event. It's a whole weekend. There's going to be many people within the disclosure community there. Carrie Cassidy's going to be there. Colonel Randy Kramer from the SSP is going to be there. Brad Olson's going to be there. And many other, inventors of holistic modalities are going to be there. So it's going to be a great event. A lot of disclosure is going to be taking place. And again, if you guys go under my name, just make sure you give me your name in the comments so that I can let him know that you guys are only going to be paying $60 at the door. Okay. And I do provide a link. If you guys want to go through the link, I always put the link in the description at the end of the live. Make sure you guys click the link. And also, I have only a few spots left for my September courses that begin on the 19th, 20th, and the 21st, coming up in 2.5 weeks. So if you have never taken my courses, guys, I have Ascension, Basic Ascensions for beginners. I have Ascension 2.0 for intermediates. And my new class, that class is already booked. You're going to have to wait till October to book Ascension 3.0, which is next level advanced Ascension courses. And also my groundbreaking course, our Cosmic Origin, guys. Our Cosmic Origin is a mind-bending, I'm going to take you guys on a cosmic ride with so much information. Yeah, what's going on?
I'm about to text you the link for the tickets for Alien event. Go ahead and put that from your phone into the chat if you can.
Sure. Let's see if I can.
Alien event on eventbrite.com.
Yeah, but they have to go through my ticket in order for me to get credit. And again, I've never gotten paid for this event, but I told the guy, hey, listen, I'm no longer going to be doing events for free. If you want me to do a presentation, you have to give me a cut of the people that buy the tickets through my end, because I need to get paid, So I will go ahead and actually, if Starcadian, if you could look for the link, I'm trying to find it. If you could actually pin it, that would be great. Or if you could put it in the chat. Where am I? Am I even broadcasting? Yes, I am. Okay, I am broadcasting. Couldn't find myself for a bit. There we go. Let me see. Let me try to find it.
I could text it to.
Oh wait, Starcadian. Starcadian posted the link. My link. If you guys go through this link, of course, I get credit for that. All right. And with no further ado, I think I could open it up for Q&A. So I would like to recognize Greg is in the house. MJF is in the house. William Ryan, Rosebud Atkins, Laura Barber, Debbie Gender,
Polish people are in the house. Dobry wieczór.
Dobre wieczór for the Polish Galactic Jedis. William Ryan, Justin Mercado, Debbie Gender, Aaron, Margie King, Jill Hunt, Justin Mercado, I think I've already called him, and of course Starkadian and all 2,500 freedom fighters that are in the house. It is an honor, guys, and a great delight to be here with you guys today on a Wednesday evening. So you guys know the drill. If you guys could type your questions in capital letters, I could actually bypass the chat. That'd be greatly appreciated. And no, I'm not drinking beer. I don't drink alcohol. I'm actually drinking green tea.
Let's get the tea. That's the one that's get the tea.
Get the tea, right? I love green tea.
The detox.
Oh, this is the detox tea, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Get the
nice.
tea. Get the tea detox.
I love it. I love tea that cleans out your organs too.
I'm making him detox too, guys.
Rosebud Atkins says, "I am grateful to you and the lovely Monica." Well, you're getting some love, honey.
I'll give it right back to them. Here. Sending infinite love hearts, rose quartz.
Sarah says, "Thank you for everything you do, Ishmael. You guys are so welcome. It is an honor to be here at this time and sharing everything that I know with you guys." All right, I'm looking for questions, guys. I'm looking for questions. And again, I do appreciate the super chats. They go a long way. For those that give super chats, thank you in advance. Your questions will be answered for sure. Let's see. Can you explain about all indigo types? Something new about 1, 2, and 3. What are their purpose? This is Indigo Star Zeno. I think I've already explained the 3 types of indigos that are incarnated. One of them is regarding a 5th dimensional being, right, that came into 3-dimensional reality, or a 6th-dimensional being, which is an angelic soul. And the second type of indigo is a more advanced, higher evolved soul. Many could consider at the level of an archangel that also embodied in human form. And then you have what is called the Elohim type of indigo. Okay, that's all in the category of type 2. Type 2 is the most advanced. Type 1 is advanced, but not the most advanced. And then type 3 indigo is an indigo that has both the aspect of a fallen angel and an angel, Oraphim, in their body. So they have it the toughest, because they could either be swayed over to the dark side like Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars, or they could be used as a power being within the light. Okay, so to give you guys an example of an indigo type 3, Anakin Skywalker from the movie Star Wars, he could have either gone, light or dark. Okay, but he apparently, unfortunately, Anakin Skywalker chose to go dark. So the purpose of a type 3 indigo, guys, is to overcome the fallen angel in you. Okay, so that way you could serve the light. Thank you, Nathan Taylor, for your super chat. I appreciate that. He says, what do the Elohim look like? Well, for the Elohim that are incarnated in human form, they look just like me and you. They look human, of course, but they come from dimensions 10, 11, and 12. Okay, that's what we called an indigo type 2. Indigo type 1 is a being that volunteered from dimensions 4, 5, or 6. Thank you so much, Joyful, for your super chat. She says, Ishmael, how do I find out what is in your soul contract? That's a good question, Joy.
Akashic records would be good.
Yeah,
Open
but
your book of life.
I don't know if she knows how to access the Akashic records. Of course, everything that you guys need to know about your soul contract and about your past lives is revealed within the Akashic records. Now, are there ways of accessing the Akashic records? Absolutely. Through different techniques, right? You're able to access the Akashic records. Now, I would strongly recommend Joyful to take my Ascension courses, because some of the techniques that I provide in these courses is techniques that not only help you become multidimensional and connect with different versions of yourself, higher versions of yourself, but also capable of accessing your soul contract and memories as well. All right, I did get another super chat from Canadian Moose Jedi. What's up, Canadian Moose Jedi? So, what's the news on Ascension? Will it happen on the 15th? Your lovey says it will happen.
Okay, that kind of correlates with a download that I got from the Pleiadians that was about the first wave of the solar flash. It is the main date that I got for the first wave. There is also the Feast of Trumpets that some believe will be the rapture. That will be supposedly from September 22nd to the 24th. So there's something about that. And I believe Ishmael received a download about September 23rd. So we're really looking at this month, and we're going to keep on observing all of the Schumann resonance, the solar flares. But, checking in with the Pleiadians, they gave me that guidance that September 15th was the first wave of the solar flash. So, that's cool that you remembered. Release all density and try to make room for all that light. And please detox.
Well, there you guys go. All right. The solar flash, the Ascension, the first waivers is upon us. It's always best to be ready and prepared to become activated. And really what's going to be happening is we're all going to be merging, or at least those that are ready, right? There's going to be 3 waves of Ascension. You're going to have the opportunity to merge with your galactic self, whether it's a 4th, 5th, or 6th dimensional version of you, or you could be Elohim, whether it's an 8, 9, or 10 dimensional version, or archangelic, 7, 8, and 9 dimensional version, archangelic, or Elohim. You could be merging with your 10th, 11, or 12th dimensional version. I guess we're all going to find out, right?
I think we're going to have to do a podcast on how to help people prepare, like energetically, with their aura, with everything like that. We're probably going to have to put something together for that first wave of Ascension, just more or less. There's a lot you can do.
Thank you so much, Kate C 4253 for that super chat. She says, "Hi Ishmael, this is Kathy and Tom from New Jersey. Did you receive the decorated seashells we sent?" Yes, I did, and these are amazing. I love this. And look, she even encoded the cover of my second book, or rather my first book. I just republished it, The Secret Government. So this is beautiful, sister. Thank you so much, and thank your husband. And yes, I also received this one. This is so cool.
On his desk. They're so cute. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. She put them on my desk so I could always look at them. Oops, wait. There we go. Put it back. And then I think I think that's it. Yeah, these 2 shells. Thank you for that gift. I appreciate that. Yeah, for those that want to send me little gifts or anything, I do have a mailing address. It is 1771 West State Route 89A, Suite B, number 3015, Sedona 86336. That is my kind of like a P.O. box, but it's not a P.O. box. It's like a mailing address. So, I do have one for those that want to send me stuff. Feel free. Thank you guys. Yeah. And like I said, sometimes when I read your letters, guys, I get really emotional. So appreciate that. Now,
I want to thank the lady for that song, the poem.
Oh, the poem song. There is one of you guys who actually wrote a song about how I helped you awaken and how my intel has inspired you, and all my information throughout the years had inspired you to activate, to remember. So I appreciate that song poem that you wrote. Thank you so much. So, Kathy, yes, I did receive your shells. Katsy, I'm sorry, Katsy, yes, I did receive your shells. And then she also says, more importantly, what is going on with the alignment with Russia, China, and Korea? Is it leading to a scare event? Um, you know, one of the things to understand before we transition into the new financial system and before we see the open takedown of the deep state is that there has to be a climatic moment, okay? Things have to escalate to the point where there are rumors of war, where the sirens of are, happening, right? Uh, it's the best way to describe it is there has to be some sort of third world war scenario. But as you guys know, the Galactics already deactivated all of the nuclear arsenal, so there will be no war. But it has to lead to that point in order for the White Hats to be able to completely dismantle the old guard. Okay. So, yes, I heard about the Korea and China and the Russia threat that's happening right now. But I believe, guys, this is all part of a script. This is all part of the script to take down and dismantle the old paradigm, the old system, the old global order, to bring forth a new system, a new order that will benefit humanity and usher us into the space era, as mentioned earlier in this live. Now, for those that are just jumping on, don't forget to watch this from the beginning, all right? I completely reveal why Trump was missing for over a week, or he was missing in action, right? When everybody thought he was having heart issues, stroke, whatever. They thought he was going to be announcing that he's stepping down due to health issues. That was all speculation. Okay. So he was actually meeting with returned Solar Warden space admirals, and he was being briefed on the success in outer space and in other sectors of our galaxy. Okay. That's why Trump was MIS for almost a week.
Trump also recently deployed the National Guard troops to Chicago. I saw a video where there's army tanks and all sorts of military vehicles being transported there. So Chicago, Trump's going to come clean up the city. And also today he talked to the president of Poland at the White House, and that is my family's country. So shout out to Poland and the president. Thank you for the Polish fans. Dziękuję bardzo.
Thank you for that. All right. So Hope is Real. Thank you so much for the super chat. She says, I've been feeling strong dragon energy. Astral travel to a realm of friendly dragons. What does the purple color mean during this meditation? Well, I heard that the benevolent dragons, which work for God, right? They're guardians of treasures. They're guardians of the eternal realms. They're highly cosmic, evolved beings. They do exist within the earth, but in a different dimension. Those dragons had recently been freed and activated. So for those of you guys who work with these positive dragons, this is a time to actually align with your dragon. Okay. Some of you guys do have dragons, do work with dragons. So this is a time to align with those positive dragons. So what does the color purple mean during meditation? Well, in terms of esoteric knowledge, purple is the highest level of initiation. Okay, so that's what purple means when it comes to meditation. Now, I have another super chat from Michelle Durig. Thank you so much. No question, just donating. Thank you. I appreciate that, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you.
Doesn't purple also represent royalty?
Oh, yes. Thank you for the reminder. I was informed that purple also represents loyalty, guys. That's a very good one.
Royalty.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, right before I came on the live, I was actually being interviewed on Patriot Radio, which was kind of cool. I was referred to them by my good friend and buddy Scott McKay, the Patriot Street Fighter. That's why I was about 6 minutes late. So I apologize for that. Again, if you guys are late to the live, make sure you watch it from the replay. How long are we going to wait for disclosure, says Caroline McCabe. Not too long. Not too long. Now that Trump was given the green light by the Solar Warden admirals to begin the process.
Yeah, the White Hats did not want to give Biden any top secret knowledge about ET's disclosure UFOs. They just waited for Trump to be fully back in office. So now that he's back, he can handle it.
Oh, this is a good one. Have you heard about the City of Light above Sedona? Well, I was informed that the City of Light currently exists underneath Sedona, but I was also informed that when we establish first contact, one of the first regions that is going to have that is Sedona, Arizona. It is believed that by 2027, no later than, we're going to have the first interplanetary city here in Sedona, Arizona. And I guess I just revealed why I'm here. But yeah, I did hear about the City of Light, but it's currently in the not in the surface. It's underneath, but it's soon going to be resurfaced. Yes.
We're by an open golf course, so if any of you Pleiadians or friendly ETs want to land and come make contact, go ahead and find us. Come land.
Ishmael, what is the Urantia book? I knew I was going to get that one eventually. And how accurate is the info in that book? All right, I'm very well familiarized with the Urantia book. In fact, I've been studying the Urantia book for over 20 years, guys. Okay. I know I don't look my age, but you could say I don't really age that much. Okay. The Urantia book is only about 20% accurate. The other 80% was modified and corrupted by the dark forces. However, the concept of cosmology revealed in the Urantia book regarding the organization of local universes into super universe structures that make up the grand central universe, that aspect is correct. And I was able to cross-reference that with information that was actually hidden within the highest levels of the advanced contact of intelligent organization known as the Labyrinth Group. The Labyrinth Group was able to access the Earth's Stargate number and the Earth's place within the organized cosmos, and it is exactly aligned with the cosmology revealed within the Urantia papers. But the history of the local universe of Nebadon, the history of Urantia, which is the name that they call the Earth, and the life and teachings of Jesus, those aspects of that book were heavily corrupted. So, initially, the Urantia material, which was channeled by high emissaries in the 1950s, was intended to become what is known as the fourth epical revelation, with the Bible being the third. But unfortunately, during the 1950s, the information within that book, besides the accuracy of cosmology, was highly compromised, right, by the interplanetary corporate conglomerate. Okay, so yeah, when you read the Urantia book, the only part that is accurate is the cosmology aspect of it. Everything else was corrupted. Again, I will put the link to the magazine at the end of the live. I know somebody's asking me, where's the link to that magazine? This is called Awaken Now magazine, and I am excited that I'm being featured on this international magazine. So I will go ahead and put the link in the description at the end of the show.
Ishmael, someone want to know if the beginning of the RV is going to be the 10th to the 12th. What updates do you have, of any trustworthy updates about the currency's revaluation?
Right now, I can't give you guys a set date regarding the RV, but just know that we are at the finish line. We are at the end of this, what they call phase 4. So I would say between now and the end of the year, but I can't give like definite dates. But chances are is that it could be this month because of what's been happening from behind the scenes with Trump, Space Force, the 19 cities that are about to be cleansed, the cartel that is being taken out, the entire globalist infrastructure that is about to be exposed. So I would say very, very soon. I do have a super chat from Hanny H. Vid. Thank you so much. Hey, Perez, why is there 3 solar flashes? Good question. Because one big solar flash would actually disrupt the equilibrium or the electromagnetic field of the planet, which is already in decline. And that will result in major catastrophes. So the reason why the Galactics, who are under the command of Prime Creator, decided to do 3 flashes was to prevent major cataclysms. What they want more than anything, guys, is a swift and smooth transition into the new earth. They don't want any catastrophes, right? Like as viewed in the movie 2012. They don't want a physical pole shift to take place. So that's the reason why they decided to buffer the flash into 3 separate segments, which also allows for those that are ready to, ascend, right, and activate their superhuman abilities. And then in turn, that's going to lead for the second wave of readiness to activate. And then that's going to lead to the third wave. Okay. And then by the third wave, there will no longer be the old Earth as we know it.
I think it also has to do with the amplitude of the hertz. Like if you've been looking at the Schumann resonance and the hertz, there's a buildup. So in order for your body to assimilate all this light, all these light codes, the sun has to kind of gradually give it in bursts. But I did see a date from a time traveler, which was amazing, that November the 2nd, there's supposed to be an X50 class solar flare. And with that, it's going to take down most of the power grid for 2 days.
Thank you for sharing that. I also have another super chat from Nathan Taylor. Thank you so much, brother. He says, when we ascend, what is the first thing we should or shouldn't do? What is the first thing that we should or shouldn't do? Well, when you become activated and all your memories return and your mind goes from here to here, you will know what to do. You will be a multidimensional being once again. You will be a full consciousness. So you will know what to do, okay? And I guess by virtue of that, you'll also know what not to do. So just follow your own intuition. You are your own, you could say, savior, all right? Each and every single one of you has to do the work, has to be prepared, has to be grounded. And more importantly, each and every single one of you is going to have the opportunity to connect with your Christ self. And when you do so, you guys are going to have, you will no longer need mentors. You will no longer be teachers. You guys will be your own teachers, okay? When you are fully fused with your Christ self. And you'll know what to do. Good question. Where did God come from? Who created God? No one created God. God is eternal source essence. It has always existed. It never had a beginning or end. It is what we called in the esoteric knowledge pure eternal consciousness. Pure eternal consciousness.
Come on, pick his brains, guys. You only have him a little bit while longer before
Just a few more minutes.
Make him his dinner. Have a nice night. It was fun giving you my 2 cents. Love. Peace.
Is a solar flash coming from the center of the galaxy? Yes, absolutely. Via our sun. That is correct. Did we come here to save humanity? Yeah. I believe all of you guys on the live and on the replay are volunteered souls. I hear we have a birthday, Galactic Jedi. Happy birthday, Linda Wang. Happy birthday to you, sister. Oh, somebody asked me a question about Commander Valiant Thor. Yes, Vicky, to answer your question, I apologize for that. You know, sometimes the super chats disappear. I don't know why, but to answer your question, I do remember your question. Yes, when we are fully settled as a Type 1 interplanetary civilization, we will have the opportunity to meet Commander Valiant Thor. In fact, Commander Valiant Thor has a human counterpart. So when he integrates with his human counterpart, you guys will know who he is.
We've seen his ship outside here one night.
Oh yes, we have seen his ship outside here in Sedona, Arizona. Multiple times, actually. I've seen it. Shanteeth is asking me, I would love to know what you both think of 3i Atlas. You must be a new subscriber. I actually did a full presentation on everything you need to know about 3i Atlas last Saturday, 2 lives ago. Make sure you watch that, okay? So I do want to welcome all my new subscribers. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you so much for subscribing. Go ahead.
So it's great that you asked us both. So I haven't had the awesome chance to share this with anyone other than with Carrie Cassidy when she first messaged us and showed us 3i Atlas. So little back history, I can remote view. I have had a lot of practice with my third eye, and I could tap into the ship, and I can also get downloads telepathically. I said this to Carrie Cassidy about 3 weeks ago before she even knew it was anything to do with Anunnaki. So it's your choice to believe what I have to say or not. However, I'm still doing a lot of investigation about it, but what happened with my download was magnificent. So personally, this is my opinion based on my download, that I want to assure you, first of all, that this object that is heading here, it's definitely coming here. Okay. And it doesn't have a very negative motive, but this is a probe that's being sent by the Anunnaki and Lyrans. They want to monitor our evolution. Yes, it has AI operating the ship. It is, however, a benevolent race of beings here to take facts and study our development of our species. The only way AI is invading, though, is if the technology of the ship AI itself goes rogue, which isn't seeming to be going to that side, but it has that possibility. It will be coming to our planet, and it is projected that this object will want to land in populated places. And the beings, they would want to choose to be friendly with some individuals that are really conscious about ET contact. So it is a probe, it is friendly, and the AI that they have on it, they interface with it. It could essentially be deemed sentient, but it's still programmable. And that is what I remote viewed from the map of where the object is. That's where I'm coming from, but I still have to evaluate all of it.
Thank you for sharing that. All right, so this is an important question. Somebody's asking me that they believe, this is Mary-LP. Ishmael, I have a thought that the solar flash will come first before the Nicera Gacera RV, because in having this, the NPCs and evil ones will be gone first. That could be the case. That could be very well the case. And it seems like everything is coinciding some, between now and the end of the year, right? We're saying 3 Atlas will be here by the end of October. So, yeah, these are exciting times. Thank you for sharing. Is there other sources and other multiverses? All multiverses stem from the same prime creator source. There's only one God with the capital G, the source of all existence that exists at the center of all things, expressed through the central suns, that created the entire multiverses, or at least provided the energy source to create the multiverses. I do have another super chat from Hope is Real. Thank you so much, sister. She says, forgot to share, but I have also been finding myself viewing inside a spacecraft with humanoids being with bird face like thought. Is this good? Yeah, that means that you are probably a blue avian starseed. That means you volunteered from the ninth dimension, which makes you an archangel. Okay, that's kind of cool that you share that. So, some of you guys, when you ascend, you guys are going to come to find out what kind of starseed you are. So, there are some blue avians that have also volunteered to be here in human form. You guys, a lot of you guys have really, really good questions. All right, I probably have time for maybe one more question. Ishmael, will we be in the fifth dimension when the Earth has drastic changes? No, before the drastic changes, which are going to be very minimal, not too harsh, we're already going to be transitioning, and that's what many call the rapture, the ascension, the splitting of worlds, the splitting of timelines. How do you find out what your star origin you are from? This is a question from Mary Moore. Well, for those that take our cosmic origin class, the beauty of that class is that at the end, or during the fourth and final class, which is the final class, I actually read your energy, and I'm capable of identifying your star origin. Okay, so that's one of the benefits of taking our cosmic origin class. Again, guys, our cosmic origin class is still open. I think I have 3 spots left, starting September 20th or 21st, not sure. And Ascension 2.0 is still available, as well as Ascension 1.0 for those that want to understand the basics of Ascension, how to go from 3D to 5D and everything in between. All of these are available through my website, ourcosmicorigin.com. Class doesn't start till the 20th, 21st of September. Make sure you guys book your course so I could see you guys on an interactive live webinar. So yes, it is very interactive. You guys could actually interact with me in real time via a webinar for a class. Now, I do have another super chat. This will be the last one that I take by Jackie Baby. Thank you so much. She says, Ishmael, do you know anything about Vietnamese dong are being used for humanitarian projects? All I know is very general, that the Vietnamese dong, as well as the what is that one called? The Zimbabwe, and of course there's a few other ones. those are the only ones that are aligned with the QFS. Okay, so when the revaluation happens, if you guys have Dong or Zim or what's the other one? I forget. The Iraqi dinar. You guys are going to be very, very wealthy. All right. With that have said, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your evening. I will see you guys in 2 nights, right? Friday. Wait, what's today? Wednesday. Saturday night for another beautiful in-depth presentation. May the God Force be with you all. We'll see you guys then.